If you want something that's going to instantly boost your energy, do something physical, whether that's dancing around your house to a really cheesy pop song, going for a brisk walk, maybe you want to do some yoga or go for a run, whatever it is, instantly do it. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Guest Book Podcast. I hope that you are well, and I hope that your wedding planning is going as smoothly as possible. If not, today we are looking at how to manage your stress and what stress management techniques that you can implement on your journey. And it is week 10 of the Bridal Self-Love Journey. So this is probably one of the episodes that you may want to watch time and time again, just because there's so much that you can do to help manage your stress. Now, if you are between 4 and 6 weeks out to your big day, this is the time that I advise all of my brides to do radical self-love, self-care, stress management, because we do not want our bodies to manifest migraines, headaches, cold sores, coughs, acne, stomach aches, IBS, either delayed or onset periods. Our bodies are wonderful. When we're under stress, our bodies can manifest numerous things that could have an impact on maybe our confidence, our self-esteem, even our stress. It can heighten our stress. So this is a really good episode for you to dig deep and see what it is that you may need to manage or minimize or help alleviate stress. Why is stress management important? Now, stress management isn't just something to feel good in that moment. It's something that we should be doing to help us manage stress throughout the whole entire journey. It's crucial for not only our mindsets, but our mental health and our whole well-being. And chronic stress can then lead to burnout, which can then lead to have an impact on your mental health. It can also have an impact on your emotions and also your physical health, as we've just said, with all the things that our bodies can manifest. So it's important that we have certain strategies, certain tools and methods in place to help us on this journey. Now, this journey is a beautiful one, but it's also a very stressful one. And if you remember a few weeks ago, I gave you a tip to help you alleviate that pressure from you. And that tip being that you've probably never done this before. So us being deluded and thinking that things are going to go 100% to plan isn't a great mentality that we should be in. We should be going into this with kind of excitement and grace and somewhat confidence, but also to be open to the fact that things may not go to plan, and that is okay. When we set ourselves unrealistic expectations, we fall into the stress trap. We fall into the trap of thinking we can do everything under a short period of time. Wedding planning isn't rocket science, but it is time consuming. And if you've never done it before and you're doing things for the very first time, it can feel overwhelming. So here are some stress management techniques and tips that you can implement on your journey so you don't get burnout, so you don't feel emotionally and physically strained, and that you can actually enjoy the journey a little bit more in knowing that you can keep yourself calm. Now, if you're a bride who is really, really excited and actually stress doesn't bother you, because let's be honest, not everyone's going to be stressed. My sister, for instance, you would not even think that she was even having a wedding. Like, she kept everything kind of internal. She was probably like a duck on the water with her legs flapping underneath, but she kept her cool. She was composed. On her wedding day, I was probably more stressed than she was. So we all manage our stress differently, all shows up differently. And it may be the fact that after your wedding, you start getting the coughs and the colds and all of that because you've started to relax. So again, you can use these techniques to also help you after the big day too. So how can we spot burnout before it happens? Because let's be honest, I've been there. I know that I need to look after my diet or my sleep or, downtime. and I don't, and I keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and that's when burnout happens. And it can be really detriment to your mental health. That when burnout happens, a lot of other things happen too, such as lack of interest in things that you once loved. You can start having really bad self-esteem and confidence issues with you because you're not 100% yourself. You've just burnt yourself out to the ground. So here are a few little things to look out for so you can nip burnout in the bud and you can start feeling better about your journey. Irritability. So if you find yourself snapping more, being wound up more, that is a sign that you could be experiencing burnout. Now, you'd probably be like, well, yeah, I'm snapping and things because I don't know how things are meant to go. I feel like I'm doing a million and one things and everything's feeling overwhelming. Again, this is a sign that burnout's happening and you need help. Now, fatigue is another one. So if you're constantly feeling tired and you're not feeling like you ever get a good night's sleep, that's another sign of burnout. Anxiety. Now you're probably thinking, Kelly, of course I've got anxiety. I'm about to get married. But when you're constantly stressing and you're constantly putting that pressure on yourself, so much so that you're worrying about the smallest little details, you're worrying about things that are way out of your control, guess what's going to happen? You're going to start thinking these things and these things will come true because the more you believe something, the more it's going to happen. And not only that, you're stressing yourself out for nothing. And it leads to burnout. If you're feeling a change in your sleep patterns, whether it's you're sleeping more or sleeping less, you're having nightmares or you're waking up throughout the night, it could be that your cortisol levels are high, meaning you're in high stress, meaning that that's a warning sign that you could be leading yourself into burnout. And as I've mentioned before, our bodies physically manifesting. So if you start having loss of appetite, you start getting headaches or migraines, whether you're getting stomach cramps or if you listen to your body will tell you what you need. So if at a time that you're thinking about working yourself up about something on your wedding, and 10, 15 minutes, maybe an hour later, you start getting a headache or you start having really bad stomach problems, link it back. It's because of the anxiety. Our bodies will physically manifest things. So again, that could then lead to burnout. And lastly, losing enthusiasm for things that you once loved or enjoyed. This can also be overshadowed with the fact that we are hyper focused on our wedding and our wedding plans, and wedding planning becomes our whole personality. What I do with my teaching methods to all of my brides is I teach you how to weave wedding planning into your normal life. So you don't get this insane burnout, that you don't get this insane hyper focused attitude. Where that is really good and where that is also exciting and you can become creative, it can also lead you to burnout because you're constantly focused on one thing that nothing else, the things that you used to love and enjoy, nothing else can get through. So those are just a few things to look out for when it comes to burnout. So I have a very useful tips and techniques that you can use right now and implement them to help you manage your stress. And you can use this way beyond your wedding day too. So let's look at number one. So number one is using a hot drink. Now I don't have one with me today. I probably should have put the kettle on before I started recording. But with our hot drink, we can become present in this moment, meaning we just spend that time with our drink. You can use this as part of your morning routine or afternoon routine, or just something to kind of get yourself present. Okay, so what I would love for you to do is get your cup and spend time being present. So if your mind is going a million miles an hour, what we want to do is get ourselves in a present moment, because the only thing that we can control is right now. We can't control what's been, we can't control what's about to happen. So we want to kind of become present and in our own energy. Let's calm things down. So this was on TikTok not so long ago, but it's something that I've done forever. There was nothing in this. I'm not going to pretend like I'm on EastEnders, pretending I've got a cup of tea. But I want you to grab your cup, okay? And I want you to kind of hug the mug. I want you to take time to feel the heat, smell whatever you're drinking, whether it be coffee or tea or a peppermint tea or a flavored tea. Just spend a moment connecting. So the whole point is connecting with our senses. So we are present. We're not thinking about anything else around us. We are present in the moment with our hot beverage. And we're just going to take time to kind of connect and breathe and just be. So feel the warmth, get the aroma. So we're using our senses. We've got our touch, we've got our smell. Lately, we're going to taste it and we're going to savor that in our mouth. Feel it going down, and really, really just spend that moment with our hot beverage. That is a few minutes out of your day to just calm down, do something you enjoy, something that you probably do multiple times a day, to just center yourself. So that is one really simple, really easy thing that you can do to manage your stress. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do some deep breathing and intentional breathing. Now, sometimes this might sound silly, but we breathe wrong. And you're like, I breathe normally every single day. When you're under stress, we can take short, shallow breaths, and it's keeping us on the edge, right? Our nervous system can't regulate because it's not getting enough oxygen. And if you think if you're under stress and you can't breathe properly, everything freaks out. If you imagine when you were a kid and you've been told off or you've hurt yourself, and you get that moment where the kid's hysterical and he or she can't breathe, and it's like, and you get in that is your nervous system trying to regulate itself. Gabriella did this the weekend, and all I did was tap on certain points on her body and on her back to try and regulate her and calm her down. And you can do the same for yourself. But what we can do is, if we're not breathing properly and we're not intentionally breathing, because as I said, we do short, shallow breaths, we want to deepen those breaths, be more intentional with those breaths. And in doing so, we're not only feeling more calm, we're feeling more clarity in our mind. We are filling our body full of oxygen, so we are more awake and more alive, and we can operate much more better than we did before. With deep breathing exercises, you can do this in your home, you can do it in your car. It's really, really easy and really, really simple, and it's called the 4-7-8 method. So you may have heard this already, you may implement this already, but for those of you who don't, let's have a little look at how we can use this to help regulate our nervous system and also feel less stressed. So we want to inhale for 4 seconds. We want to hold it for 7 seconds and then exhale for 8 seconds. And it's kind of like we're going to go around and do that. I would say do that 5-10 times. Open up those lungs, feel the air moving, and feel more clarity of thought. A really easy thing that you can do after you've done your deep breathing or you've spent time with your hot drink. If you want something that's going to instantly boost your energy, do something physical, whether that's dancing around your house to a really cheesy pop song, going for a brisk walk, maybe you want to do some yoga or go for a run, whatever it is, instantly do it. So if you're feeling like I've got no energy, I feel stressed, I feel like I don't want to talk about my wedding today, I don't want to even contemplate thinking about it, or you've had a really stressful day at work, the instant way to boost and manage your own energy is by doing something physical. I do this dancing around to silly songs in my living room. or I just listen to really high vibe music. But what you really want to do is move the energy. Now, energy cannot be destroyed. All it can do is shift and change. So what we want to do is, if we're feeling stressed and we're feeling not at all with it, we want to move and change that energy. So instantly listen to a song, go out in nature, go for a run, boost it and move that energy, and it will transform. You might think I'm being a bit out there. It's science. That's what happens. We need to transform and move that dull, stagnant, depressing, stressed energy and get more lighter, more like vibrant energy in us. So we need to do that by movement. Fourth thing you can do is get organized. And I talk about this a lot when I talk about time blocking. The episode before I start this series was all about time blocking. So go and have a look about that, look over that. But when it comes to organization, you might be a little bit like me and have checklists everywhere, but we want to make sure that we're doing things that are really called for us to do. We don't just want a bunch of checklists of to-do lists. What we really want is the get to do list. So why not change your approach? So you've probably got a bunch of things that you've got to do for your wedding, whether that's organizing the friends and family stuff for the actual day, or the hen or the stag, or we know the score. What I would love for you to do is do a checklist for the day. And this is I get to do list. So I get to do list for me, I look at, I'm not really great with a school run. I get kind of triggered and traumatized from my own experience as a kid. No one tells you this as an adult, by the way. You're like just thrown back into the school run routine and school life again as an adult. And if you hated school like I did, it is a shock to the system. So what I do is I get to take my daughter to school. I get to wash her uniform. I know that sounds like really, really boring, but I get to do these things. I get to show up and be the mum, the best mum I can be every single day. Now, if you are struggling with your mental health maybe and you're neglecting yourself somewhat, I get to have a shower. I get to look after myself. You have a choice in all of these things, and just write them down. Just start, like I said with the gratitude list before, 3 to 5 things, and just start. What do you get to do every day that, you may take for granted, or that, you want to change your mindset on? Like, I get to have a cup of tea. I get to be here with you and tell you all of this stuff that no other wedding planner is going to tell you. I get to teach you all the things from A to Z and everything in between, because that's who I am. I get to do this. I get to show up and do this. So do a little I get to list, and you'll have your to-do list for your wedding. But reframe your mind. What do you get to do today? Number 5 is a digital detox. This is like number 1 for all of my brides who I'm working with right now, who are influenced somewhat by everything around us. We are all the time. But you know what we need? Peace. I remember back in the early 2000s, when you were tied up to the modem at home, we didn't have it on our phones. If we had mobile phones, it was just to text your friend, and you only had a certain amount of texts a month. That's how old I am. But when you are in such a digital age where you can access anything, you can look at celebrities and think that's the life that we're going to have. I come from a media background. I know how much is manipulated for us to think and feel and act a certain way. I know that when you watch something on TV, like Love Island, like some drama that you're seeing, you're made to feel a certain way. What we don't seem to realize, or very few of us do, is that when we're being influenced by the things that we're consuming, it's changing our mind. It's changing how we see things. And that internally changes us. And we lose a sense of self. We can lose our vision when it comes to our wedding day. I had a bride who told me about her friend who changed her wedding theme 3 times. 3 times in 1.5 years. And it was all because she was influenced by what she saw scrolling on her phone. And you think, well, surely she should know. But no, she was influenced by those things. So I would say be inspired, not influenced by the things that you see on your phone or on TV or whatever. So maybe you want to digitally detox. So take those apps from your phone or limit the time that you spend on your phone. Maybe put your phone away at certain times that you're at home. But mainly log out of those things and spend a few months away from being influenced on everything that's around, whether that's be on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Pinterest. Like, spend time with yourself, spend time with your other half, and really connect that way. Another thing that you can try is progressive muscle relaxation. You may not have heard of this before, and that is okay. But essentially, what it is kind of being present in your body and thinking and feeling where the stress is. When I do this with my brides, we start at the very bottom of our feet. We start with our toes. And essentially what we're going to do is we're going to kind of tense the muscle and then let it go. We're making or moving that tension out of our parts of our body that are holding it. So whether that be your hands, I know a lot of us can feel the tightness in our hands or our jaw or our shoulders, or I get it in the lower bottom of my back. It's all about kind of tensing those muscles, holding it for a few seconds, and then releasing it. And I do this from the very tips of our feet to the top of our head. You're probably thinking, how do we do that with our head? Well, obviously, we're going to do it with our foreheads. We can do it with our jaw. Even do it with our eyebrows and our eyes. Like, you can move all of these muscles and move that energy. So if you want a little bit more about that, I might do a separate episode, but you can find these techniques over on YouTube. Just give it a quick Google and see what comes up. Number 7 is meditation and mindfulness. It's not everybody's cup of tea. And let me be honest with you, when it comes to meditation, it's not about switching your brain off. A lot of people are like, I can't do it. I'm constantly thinking about things. The trick is to observe those things. They're going to come into your mind because you're slowing down. Observe them. Don't really think or feel of them and let them pass. The whole point of meditation isn't to be centered and be one and have nothing in your mind. It's a false perception of meditation. In fact, meditation is very, very useful for things like being in meetings or being that special person to someone where they can speak to you and you listen. It's about holding that thought. It's about holding back the urge to say something when someone's like confided in you or want your advice on, well, not even advice, just want you to listen. Meditation just helps with that. It helps you to become present. It helps you to become a better listener. It helps you to be a better observer. Sometimes we don't need to talk. We just need to sit and listen and be present for someone. That's where meditation can come in. Mindfulness, doing more mindful things. So, you shouldn't really do one thing, swap it for something else, or be more present with your cup like we did at the beginning, or having a real long, deep conversation with your other half, going to bed earlier, just being more mindful of the things that you're doing, that you're saying, that you're consuming. Everything ties back to one another. Lastly, connect with loved ones. One of the things that we do when we are stressed, when we're uptight, when we're snapping, when we're feeling the feels, is we become self-isolated. And we then don't speak up and we don't tell people how we feel. We kind of expect them to know. I mean, no one else is a mind reader. No one's going to know what you're thinking and feeling. So really speak to someone, talk to them. It doesn't have to be wedding related, but you can just open up the door of conversation and start being a little bit more relaxed. How saying goes, like, a problem shared is a problem halved. So you're going to have that someone to help you kind of navigate what it is that you're thinking and feeling. And don't be scared to do that. Bonus tip for you is EFT tapping. If you haven't done that yet, there's so many resources online, but you can have a look at how tapping can clear and move that energy. So when I was talking about stuck energy before and dancing around your living room like a lunatic to some cheesy tune, EFT tapping helps move and shift any stuck and stagnant energy as well. So that is also another bonus tip for you when it comes to your stress management techniques. So those are 8 or 9 with the bonus tip things to help you navigate stress when it comes to your wedding planning and beyond, because you can use this throughout. Let me know which one you're really interested in trying, or if there's an episode you would like me to go in depth on. So maybe you want more on tapping, or maybe the progressive muscle relaxation technique. Whatever it may be, let me know and I can do a specific episode on that. For now, make sure you've downloaded the Bridal Self-Love checklist, and make sure that you've signed up to become a Wedding Planning Collective Insider, because I've got so many great things coming over the next few weeks as well as months. So please, please, please sign up for that. You can find that over at theweddingplanningcollective.com, and you might get a little pop-up. It will come up straight away. So make sure you do that. So for now, I'm going to love you and leave you. I hope you have a great week and just relax. Let me know which technique that you chose. Have a great week.